While browsing for assets for a new tutorial, I stumbled upon this set of really cool pixel art village images, and it sparked an idea. What would an idle game mixed with a village/city building look like? I started giving it some thought and decided to start creating a prototype. I'm still not sure what form this project will take, but I decided to document my journey while I'll figure it out. For this game, I'm going to be using art assets from CraftPix, a website where I have a subscription, and also a codebase that we've developed at Bigfoot to be able to have the basic idle mechanics up and running in a short amount of time. To get started, I created a new Unity 2D project, downloaded the fishing assets I showed you guys before, and recreated the scene that we saw in the package preview. The only thing moving right now is the fisherman with an idle animation, so it's a quite static scene. I then moved to adding some details to the scene so it would come to life. First, I added some new characters and animals moving around the scene, implemented a subtle parallax effect in the background clouds, along with some underwater life. I played a bit around with the fisherman's animations as well, so after a couple of seconds he would hook something and drop it in the fish bucket behind him. I wanted the character to be able to go inside of the house to create some depth in our scene. To achieve this, I duplicated the front of the house, cut a hole for the window and placed it right on top of the other sprite. So now every time our character is moving in and out of the house, she will go between both layers, giving us the illusion that she's actually going inside of the house. For the underwater plants, I wanted to add some movement to them, simulating a current passing by and moving them from side to side. Instead of doing frame-by-frame animation, I implemented a wind shader I saw a while back in a YouTube video, which is a perfect fit for what I wanted to achieve here. To be able to use this shader, I switched the project to the universal render pipeline, implemented using a shader graph, created a new material and assigned it to the plants. As you can see in the preview, this shader moves the sprite back and forth, applying more movement at the top and almost none at the bottom, which is exactly what we wanted. The last thing I did this week was to implement Cinemachine in the project. This allows for some really cool camera movement and transitions that we can play around with. I created more village to the left and added two new virtual cameras, one for the fishing area, which is a little bit more zoomed in, and one for the village. I then created a really simple camera manager to be able to transition between the different virtual cameras when we press the left or right arrow keys. As you can see here in the scene, we're focusing on the fishing now, and if we press the left arrow, it will transition to the village. If we press the right arrow, it will transition back to the fishing. If we want to switch how the transition happens, we can select our Cinemachine brain, and under default blend, we can actually choose which kind of ease we want. For example, if we want a cut, now it will just cut from one to the other. Or if we want to play around with this, we can do a linear, we'll just go linearly from one to the other. If you want to change how long it takes, you can just do it here as well. It's really up to you what you want to do with Cinemachine. I'm really happy with the direction this project is taking, and this week I'm going to be working on adding the idle components to the game, so each of the workers can gather some kind of resource like fish and silver. What kind of ideas do you have for this game? I would love to hear what you guys can come up with. If you want to see how this project evolves, please consider leaving a like on the video and dropping a comment below. You can imagine how much it helps me to reach a bigger audience. Also, if you're an aspiring game developer, check out the rest of my videos where I have tutorials on how to make full projects for complete beginners. This is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.